In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can make some fall and Halloween home decor just using some Dollar Tree items. And I love how these turned out. They are super great. So let's jump right into the video. Starting off here, I have this wreath form and I also have this fabric piece that you can find at Dollar Tree. I want to cover this wreath form up with this piece of fabric, so I am going to cut them into strips. You only have to make a little slit with your scissors and then just rip it. It'll easily rip, and then you can just completely wrap the wreath form nice and easily. So I am going to go in with my hot glue and place a little down so that way it can stay in place. And I am just going to start wrapping my wreath. And now for this specific wreath, it did take up the entire fabric. It was exactly enough, so you only need one fabric sheet and one wreath form, and you should be good to go. So now, as you see, I am wrapping it, and once I get to the end of the strip, I would add a little bit more of hot glue so it can stay in place, and then I would repeat that until the entire thing is nice and covered in this fabric. This wreath has to be one of my favorites that I've made. I really don't make wreaths that often, but when I do, I really enjoy making them. And this specific one is going to be for Halloween. And I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. And it's super simple to make. So now I have a ton of florals here that you can find at Dollar Tree. I have a ton of different Halloween-y looking colors, just the purple and blues and stuff like that. I am going with the blue ones first, and I am just simply hot gluing them down into place. I am putting them I'm putting one stem and then one right a little bit below it so it can cover up some more space, and then I'm going to repeat that for the other side, gluing two of the stems down. And then I am going to go in with those purple flowers and I'm going to add them on either side as well, just adding a bit of color and making it look nice and pretty. So once I add both of them to either side, I didn't want any more of the purple flowers really, so I just only added two. And then I go in with this jumbo big old black flower that I thought would be perfect for the center of the wreath. It is really nice looking for Halloween, so I just hot glue that down there in the center. And you guys, you could have it hanging on its side here, or you can have it facing this way. It's completely up to you. I personally just want it on its side. I think it looks really pretty. It does look pretty either way, but I just decided to go like this. And now I have a couple skulls here. We are about to get spooky, and I am going to glue them onto this wreath, and I am going to glue them literally all over the place, like around the flower edges, not around the other side where the fabric is, but you can do that as well. I just put it on this side. I want all of the decorations to flow on one side, and I am just seeing where I would like them to go, and I am just simply going to take my hot glue gun and place them down. And I think this is super cute, you guys, and I love how it's turning out. And I didn't put them in a specific way or pattern. I did just put them messy looking. And then I also have these little bones that I am going to add here and there onto the wreath as well, and just to make it, look a little bit more spookier if it isn't already. And then I do go in with a little bit of greenery pieces just to kind of spruce it up a bit. And that was it for this wreath DIY, and I really love it, and I think it turned out super good for all Dollar Tree items. Let me know if you would give this a try. Next up here, friends, I have this skeleton guy. I got this at Dollar Tree. And then I also have this little foam pumpkin here. I've been had this foam pumpkin in my stash, but you can find this at Dollar Tree as well. And I am just going to paint it orange. Ew, look at that paint. I definitely need to clean out my paints. I find it so satisfying when you clean them out like that. But yeah, I'm going to give this pumpkin a coat of this orange, and I am painting it regular here, but I did decide to paint it using some baking soda. So you just take equal parts of your paint and baking soda and you mix it together, and it gives it a nice texture to it, almost like a chalky texture. And I thought that that would look good for this pumpkin, so that's what I did there. And I just let that dry really well. And then the top, you can see that it's not painted because I am going to take this little cutting knife and I am going to cut the top of the pumpkin. There is a circle there already, so you can just trace that circle and then it's easily going to pop right off. And just like this, it's right out. In there, as you can see, I already added a little bag. I just stuffed it in there, so that way we don't have to use so much of whatever we want to place on top of here. And for mine, I am going to use these little fall leaves and flowers that I have left over in this bag here, but you can use whatever you would like. And I am just going to hot glue them onto the top of the pumpkin there, just going in no specific way or, special way. I am just going to add them in just as you see me doing here. And I am going to make sure I do add some hot glue so that it looks, so that it stays nice and in place. And that is what mine look like after it's done. Then I want to add it to this skeleton. I want to place it so that it looks like he's holding it on his lap. So I am going to sit him down like this, and then I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and I am going to put some on his legs, and I am just going to press that pumpkin right down. And you guys, the funny thing is that if you don't notice here, he looks kind of funny, right? And it's because I glued him on backwards. And when I realized it, I was like, OMG. And I was looking like something is wrong, something is off, and then I figured it out. Okay, well, you glued him on backwards, so now I just took him off and I just glued him back on the correct way. And I did use the second skeleton that I had because when I took him off, it did have that glue residue that you will see now because the arms and legs have to be flipped. So I just used the other one, and then I just glued them on the same way as you saw me glue the first one. And that was it, you guys. And this DIY is done, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it is super cute and I love it. I think it is really nice looking. This could even go on a porch. It would look really nice there. And let me know what you think of this DIY. Next up, I have this scrapbook paper and I have this wood round. I got this from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to remove the hanger so I could give it a coat of paint. And I am going to paint it in this white paint, but I am not going to give it full coverage. I want it to look distressed. So I'm just going to paint that in a distressed looking way. And I'm just going to keep going until I like the way it looks. And I'm going to let that dry completely before we move on to the next step. And the next step is to add this paper on this beautiful scrap paper. I got it from Hobby Lobby, and I want to add a piece in the center of this sign. So what I'm going to have to do is cut a piece off of it. So I just fold it a little bit, about maybe a quarter of it or a little bit more than a quarter, and I just fold it and then I cut that piece off. And now it was still a little bit too big for what I wanted, so I just took my ruler and I placed it down there, and then I just cut off a little bit more, and that seemed to have been good for the size that I was looking for. So now I want to place it on the center, and I'm going to do that using some Mod Podge. So I'm going to place a layer down and then place my paper down and then place a layer of Mod Podge on the top as well so it can protect that paper. You guys, quick announcement before we jump back in. I am excited to announce that I am now on Buy Me a Coffee. And if you're not familiar with what that is a website where you can support your favorite creators. And it is a great way to give back and just show your support. And I'm going to leave the link to mine down in the description box below in case you want to check that out. You guys are always greatly appreciated. And so now I am going to lay that paper down and then we can go ahead with that second layer on the top. And you just want to add a thin layer of it, not too much because you don't want to risk ripping the paper. But you do want to add it because you want to make sure that the paper is going to be nice and protected. Then once that's done, I do have this faux leather wording that I got from Dollar Tree. I thought these were super cute. They come in a 4-pack and they have this one here that says blessed, and they have another one, I believe it said grateful. I'm gonna add this here to the center. I thought that would be really nice, and so I'm just putting some hot glue down on the back so I can press it right down to the center of this sign. And I am loving how it's looking so far. Once that is on there, I am going to go in with this orange ribbon so I can just go on the outline of the paper. I'm only going to do the top and bottom, not the sides, but you can do all of the sides if you wanted, or you can just completely skip this step, but I just thought it would give it a nicer look and make it stand out more. So I'm just adding a line of hot glue and then just pressing that ribbon right down. And then just for the final step, I do add some thumbtacks. I do clip off the actual pin itself. I just add the round top part so that way it can look like there's thumbtacks in it, because this sign is a bit too thin to actually push them in. It would be sticking out in the back. So that is why I did that. And this DIY is complete. And I think it turned out really pretty for the fall time and this season. I really love how it turned out. Really simple but beautiful. Let me know what you think of this one. Last up, friends, I have these jars here that I got from Dollar Tree a while back. They were a previous DIY for Halloween. I am just going to change them up for this season, and I am going to start off by giving them a coat of this orange paint. I am going to do the same exact thing to both jars, so whatever I do to one, I will be doing to the other one. So I'm giving it a coat of this paint, and I do end up giving it about 3 coats so it can cover it really nicely. And then I'm going to let them dry in between each coat so that way we can get a nice coverage. And do keep in mind though, I am not wanting it to be super full coverage because I want to place candles in here, so I want the light to kind of shine through it, if that makes sense. So these are what they look like now, and they look full coverage but they're not too full coverage. And then I took this truffle color and I just dabbed it all over the lids. They were kind of like that with the black already when I first showed you them, but I went over with brown so it can look more like a pumpkin. And now I'm going in with this juice string because I want to add 3 lines to this jar. And this is going to be almost like the ridges of a pumpkin, like how a pumpkin would have. So I thought that would be a cute idea just to add that so I can make it look more like a little pumpkin. And you don't have to use this if you don't want. You can also use like half wood beads, which I wanted to use that, but I actually didn't have any on hand. I thought I did, but I just used this instead, and I thought that that was a good idea too because I ended up loving how it turned out. And then I am just going to add 3 lines all together for one and then 3 on the other one, and that is going to be it. And then I am just going to add my lids back on, and I do take that orange ribbon that I used in the previous DIY and I make 2 little bows for the center of each jar. And that is it, you guys. I think these turned out super cute, and just little candle jars that you can just have the pumpkins light up with that candle inside, and I thought that they are super cute. Let me know what you think of this DIY, and if you would give this a try. It is super simple but it's super cute for fall. if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up so we can help my channel grow, and do consider hitting that subscribe button so you can be a part of my YouTube family. And I will see you all on the next one, you guys. Take care. God bless. Bye.